Welcome to Perspective, a design podcast by students within the Expo Design team at Nottingham Trent University. We'll be covering topics surrounding the world of design and offering our student experience. I'm Angelos, and with me today we have...
I'm Ellen.
And I'm Charlotte.
Today's topic of conversation is regarding the Fairphone, a device dubbed the most ethical and repairable phone you can buy. I'm sure all of us are no strangers to the issue of dropping your phone, spending hundreds of pounds out of pocket to fix it. We're joined by Charlotte today, who has herself gone through the process of buying and using this alternative, sustainable device. So, what is the Fairphone all about?
Hey, it's basically a sustainable alternative to a standard smartphone. The company kind of aims to go down like an ethical, sustainable route to create a repairable phone, ultimately. So it's kind of going back a few stages. I don't know if you saw I think it was the Google phone that they were trying to make, and it was like almost like bricks that slotted together so you could customize. Yeah, and I think it was like kind of a startup at the time, and it just never kind of came about. So the Fairphone is kind of like the next step up, and it's kind of going backwards a little bit. So all of the components in it can be replaced at home with like a standard screwdriver. So if your battery starts
I didn't know that. I think I had to send it off.
No, so you literally, on the website, you can just buy the parts that you need replacement for. So if my battery was not performing as well as it should, or if like my camera wasn't that great, or they bring out an update, I can just order that off the website. I've got my little screwdriver, and then it just arrives in post. I can change it. I'm not without a phone for any amount of time.
Yeah, that does make sense. So is the main point of it that other phones you can't do that?
Yeah, I think because before the kind of like smartphone industry that there is now, there was a lot of more like the battery could be changed.
Yeah,
and
I remember in Blackberries you could take it out,
pop out the back, and it's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Can I can pop off the back of my Fairphone, and the battery is really easy to take out. It's like one of the only parts that you don't need the screwdriver for, but the rest of the parts, like the cameras, the microphone ports, everything, charging ports, I can just order a replacement. So if my cable is a bit wobbly when I'm trying to charge my phone, I can order a replacement part for that and just change it at home.
What's the price like for the phone and for the parts?
So the phone itself was, I think, £560-ish. So kind of up there. It's not a cheap
not compared to an iPhone.
Yeah,
grand.
Is that a base version, or is that with upgraded storage or RAM?
Yeah, what did you get?
I went for the high. There was two options for storage. I went for the higher storage one. And part of that was because it has the speckled green back on it. But you could get that in the other one, so I just really liked it. But it's so that was just for like the larger storage one, but it was still like just the standard product. They don't do anything that's like, you don't get to like customize it when you're buying it or anything like that. But like replacement parts, I think the screen is about £60 to get replaced, but it's not like getting it replaced where like if you have an iPhone you have to take it somewhere and get it replaced, and you're without
just
a phone.
sent to you.
Yeah, so you buy the screen as a part by itself, and it gets sent to you, and you can like dismantle and
But the whole idea is anyone with a standard Phillips screwdriver can open the thing, and any part which has gone wrong, or they need or want to upgrade, they can do that very easily.
Yeah.
So do you think it's not a gimmick? Do you think, or maybe you don't know until you
I don't know.
Need the service.
I found the Fairphone. I think I had like an advert when they were on Fairphone 2, and I've got the 4 Plus. So I've like been following it for a while. And I had my iPhone the whole time that I was like following it, and I knew that I needed an upgrade. And I was like needing a new phone. My camera wasn't working on my iPhone. Like the battery was horrendous. I had to take portable charger with me everywhere. Like
we've all been there.
Yeah, it's not ideal. So I kind of like followed it to see if it was something that was going to stick. I think because they were on the second one, so it's already like gone through another stage of like development. But I didn't want to kind of commit, not knowing, I guess. But I also wasn't in a rush to buy the phone. So by the time it came around to buying it, I think I knew that they were still supplying parts. Like they're currently still supplying parts for the Fairphone 2, which is 3 models ago now.
But isn't that a problem? Why aren't they all universal parts?
I think they pretty much are. It's just, I think it's more to do with like the compatibility of the parts. So the Fairphone 3 can take some of the Fairphone 4 parts, I think. But there's like, they've upgraded the cameras. So the camera is different on the Fairphone 4 compared to the Fairphone 2.
Fairphone's hard to say.
It is. It's really hard saying it so much. But yeah, I think in terms of it being a gimmick, I'm not 100% sure, but I personally like keeping a phone for a long amount of time as well. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of my biggest issues with iPhone, is that I knew it was going to come to an end, and with the whole planned and perceived obsolescence thing, it's a whole other part of it. And
18 months and it's
starting
gone.
to go.
That is one thing though that's great about iPhones, is the fact that they continue to receive software support for 5-6 years after purchase. And with this, I found that the Fairphone guarantees parts for 5 years.
Yeah, so my Fairphone from the point I received it is covered for 5 years warranty. So if anything goes wrong with it, I can get replacement parts sent to me, or if I need a complete new one, then it gets sent to me. But it is like, I don't know, I think it is a bit gimmicky in terms of like the kind of market it's in now as well. That it's like kind of one of the first that's like really taken off. And it's still not like in the limelight. It's not like everyone knows about it. But I think like for me personally, in the way that I do want to keep a phone for a long time, I hate changing phones. It's like the bane of my life, that having something that I know is guaranteed to last for 5 years, and also there's parts that I can replace in it if anything goes wrong, that I have like that security for me, that it's kind of like a lifestyle as well as it aligning with my beliefs with the sustainability side of it.
But one of the reasons why Apple just has us, in a chokehold is that it's so easy. Everything, you turn it on, everything's there, your photos are there, your music's there. It's just so easy. And I mean, do you have an iPad? Do you use an?
No,
you don't have an
I don't
iPad?
have anything Apple anymore.
Oh wow!
You're out of the ecosystem.
I am.
Is that a
proud of
conscious
that?
choice, or is that like an ethical thing? Do you think?
I don't know. I think ethical partly. I'm really like in my like growth of like a sustainable person, not that I am like a sustainable person, but like I make the conscious efforts that like I'm very much more conscious about where products are being made. So like clothing, I hate the thought that I'm going to buy clothes that are made
fully.
by children in the Far East. So like I'm very conscious of those sorts of sides of it as well. I don't know.
I think it's quite a jump, because like I like to think that I'm pretty sustainable, but I would never have thought about technology as my next thing. Like I think you go for like food, clothing. Actually, what do you do after that? What's like the next thing after?
I think that's a
clothing?
big part of it as well. It's like no one's going to change everything at once. Like it's not going to be a mass like I want to be sustainable overnight, so I'm going to change everything I do, because that in itself isn't sustainable.
No,
anyway.
the best thing to do is
if I was then went in my wardrobe, in my wardrobe and think, oh, I've got these things from Primark, I'm going to throw them all away. It's kind of defeating the object of it. But I think because I've had that more sustainable outlook, Apple as a company, I don't think my values align with, and I think the way they go about things isn't always in the best way, like with the charging cable and then
removing from the box.
Yeah. And like there's like lots of things that they've done, and it's just kind of questionable. Are they actually doing it for the right reasons? Is it like them trying to fit in still? And I think there are so many people that are tied to it that I didn't like that as well. That I was like,
it's just ease though.
Yeah. And I've had had iPods before I had an iPhone, and like all of my music from when I was like 11 or 12 when I had my first iPod was still on my phone just before I got this, which was like this year. Like I really liked that, but then I also was a bit like, okay, like this has been going on for this long, like it's a bit excessive. I feel like I am tied to Apple because of the way their products are designed, and I really hated that. I hated that I couldn't have like a more universal like kind of style, I guess.
Is there anything different about the Fairphone experience right from the off, as soon as you order it and then it arrives at your house or wherever?
Yeah, I think
like what is the unboxing process?
I work in packaging as well, so it's like it's the two sides of it. So when I received it, it came in like a standard brown box. Opened that up, it had paper fill, so boy fill, instead of like bubble wrap or anything. And then the box itself has like a printed sleeve, which is a really like it's good quality. Like it feels good. I feel like I'm getting a luxury product still. But once you take the sleeve off, the actual box itself is left quite brown and plain, and it just has like minimal kind of white text over it. Yeah. And then as you open it up, there's still protection. You still have like layers of protection in the cardboard as you're opening it. And when you remove your phone, it has on the bottom of the box about their return scheme. So they have kind of like a policy, I guess, that for every phone they sell, they want to recycle one. And it's obviously not always going to be like the Fairphone that they've sold, because that's not the point of it. So the intention is that you can send your phone back to them and they'll recycle it for you. Because I think a lot of people, like everyone has drawers and cupboards full of like old phones from when you're like on like your first brick to the iPhones that you have now. There's like, so that side of it is like they're making a product that's sustainable. They're making a product that is meant to last, that then they're still getting income from it because you're repairing it. You're sending them money still. So you're still like kind of tied to them, I guess, but in a bit of a different way. It's like if you want to make that change and go for a different phone again, you can. Nothing's stopping you. It's not like it's not compatible with anything else. And then from my iPhone as well, I had the option that when I was like setting up the phone, it basically asks you to like link your Google account with your iPhone, so that then all of your camera like roll and everything can be moved over to your new phone, which I chose not to do, which then became very difficult when I was trying to get
Google
contacts.
account.
Yeah, so you, like, because it's an Android, it's got like an Android operating system.
So did you have photos on a Google account if you had an iPhone?
No, but you can link it really easily. So if I logged in onto my Google account, like there's like some backup things that you can do from an iPhone, so that then it's a really easy transition over. But even like without that side of it, I had iPhones for my last like 2 or 3 phones. Before that, I was Android permanently, and they were all like hand-me-down phones. So it was just like whatever I got used to Android. So I think the jump back for me wasn't that bad because I've had experiences with Android as well. And they do try to make it like as easy as it possibly can be, but it's never going to be as easy as going from an iPhone to an iPhone.
Which phone did you come from? Which iPhone?
iPhone 8.
Okay.
Oh, that's old.
Yeah, but this is like, I don't like changing my phone.
How does it compare in terms of usability of the phone, like how fast it runs and what's the camera like in comparison to an iPhone 8, which is an older iPhone? So in terms of price, if someone's looking to buy a new phone, should they go for an older iPhone, which is arguably more sustainable than buying a new phone?
Yeah. I guess if you are an iPhone fanatic and want to carry on going down that route, it's definitely better for you to kind of go backwards. But I think the whole culture of iPhone, no one's going to do it. No one buys an iPhone because they can be like you can like the operating system as much as you want. No one buys an iPhone because they want to be part of iPhone. They want like the newest iPhone. They want like the most up-to-date one. I think it would be very rare, unless you were on a strict budget, that people would go back and buy an older iPhone.
But don't you think people just buy iPhones because it's like the industry standard?
Yeah, it's like
and also controversial. I cannot stand Android operating systems. I think the user experience. I don't know if that's just because I'm so used to Apple, and I think Apple is like phones for dummies.
Yeah,
you know, you can, as we've seen, you can give a toddler an iPad and they can call, they can text, they can message. But I just go on an Android, and I don't know why I have it in my head that they're just bad.
But then do you think that is because you're an iPhone user and you're quite attached to the iPhone?
But again, I don't think
setup.
I'm not a big iPhone fanatic. I just think it's...
Do you have an iPad?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have an Apple Watch?
Yeah, and a Mac.
And a Mac.
Yeah, everything. But then that's what I mean, it works so well together.
It does.
But then do you
know,
not
you
feel...
can airdrop, you can copy something from there, you can just...
But then you have things like OneDrive. That's what I use everything for. Even when I had my iPhone, I didn't have...
But it's still longer.
Mac. It doesn't take that long though.
I know, but then I think that's laziness. I'm just lazy. I like being able to be like, I can copy this web page into my browser, 0.2 seconds later it's here. But do you think that's bad? Do you think that I should be like, I don't know, as someone who prides themselves on being sustainable, am I just being lazy? And should I just be a bit better in that area?
No, not necessarily.
I don't think so.
I think anything sustainable has an issue of scale. So if something is small scale, it's not going to make that much of an impact, even if it's 100% sustainable. So it's better to have something which is a little more sustainable and it's done industry wide.
Yeah. But then don't you think we should all be that drop in the ocean? Shouldn't we all be like doing our bit? Because I would say the same about, I'm really passionate about buying like secondhand clothes. You know, shouldn't it be the same? Like, come on, just do your bit.
I think so. I think it's more just a mindset thing though. And I think it does... Sustainability as like a whole, becoming a more sustainable person is such a journey that like nothing is going to change overnight, and it is like a small little like one step at a time thing. And if you still got to live your life, you still got to be happy. There's no point in like compromising in terms of sustainability, where like if you're looking at it realistically, the actual problem isn't the fact that I've got a more sustainable phone, you've chosen to stick with iPhones. The problem is that Apple aren't making their phone sustainable. If Apple had brought out a phone that works in the same way as a Fairphone does, that is modular, you can repair it yourself.
Yeah, you do.
I'd have done that. I would have. Yeah.
But then don't you think that we really should do the bare minimum? Because like we're saying, my iPhone doesn't bring me joy. I don't get excited about it. So if I could just do a little bit of, you know, helpfulness by getting a different phone, shouldn't I? If I could do this, because it's not as if I get up every morning, I'm like, God, I love this iPhone. Like, if it's such a little step, shouldn't I just do it? Yeah, well, you would say because you've done it.
Yeah, but I think it's very easy for me as someone that already had an outlook on Apple where I was like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. I do not like it. I want a change. And I had been following this company that like I was then excited about it as well. Like if my phone had broken, I wouldn't have taken the time to think, oh, I'm going to look for a sustainable alternative. It just happened. I came across it years ago.
Good marketing.
And I followed it since because I think it's a really cool ethos. Like
Apple do seem to make it difficult when it comes to repairability. And
Oh.
Fairphone as a company, they're not just saying it's possible, but they're encouraging it and actively making it as easy as possible to repair your own device and order parts from them and replace and even upcycle by sending it back to them.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that's really great.
I think as well, because I had a broken screen on my iPhone and I never wanted to get it fixed because I never wanted to part with it, which is like obviously a me thing.
Part
like
with the screen?
No.
God, why do you have an emotional attachment to a bit of glass, tempered glass?
But like having to send it off or take it somewhere and drop it off.
Oh, and to get an appointment at the Genius Bar. Oh,
that's where this concept sounds so great, that you can just go online after you drop in your phone for the sake of I don't know how much a screen. Did you say £80?
I think it's about 60, 70.
I think at Apple it's like over 100, and we don't even have one in Nottingham.
Yeah, and if you get like one of the not Apple retailers, if you get like a if you get someone else to repair it, they'll charge you about 80 quid, and you still have to part with your phone for that amount of time. You still have to trust someone else to do it.
Oh, you meant part with your phone for like a week? I thought you meant you didn't have to get rid of it.
No. But in terms of getting repaired, my phone breaks now. I get one sent to me. I can still use my phone while I'm waiting for my screen to arrive. It'll arrive in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Give me a few minutes, change my screen over, and I'm back up and running.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Isn't that why we all cling on to old phones, though? It's just in case. Like, I could go and sell my old phone for £200, but I'm like, but what if I then have to go and send this one off?
Yeah.
And I need that. And then we're just hoarding
but this is
years
really
worth of phones. And if I'm getting one every 2 years, I've got a whole drawer of them.
This is the like controversial thing, I think, for me, as in someone that's bought a Fairphone because of the sustainability side of it and everything. I still have my iPhone in a drawer that I've just come away from, and I also have another phone that is a backup from when I had my iPhone. So I now have two phones that I still don't want to get rid of because
you're still sentimental over.
Yeah, but I don't even know it's like sentiment. It's like a security thing that I'm like, well, if something does happen, like I still need that, but do I need two? Absolutely not.
Even if you were to sell it, it's not worth what I'm going to get.
Like if I can get 100 quid for it, I might as well just keep it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's like, and it's like what you're saying about like, should people come away from iPhone and get a more sustainable phone? I've got a sustainable phone. It doesn't mean I'm being sustainable in every aspect of my life.
Yeah.
There's things that everyone can do that's like
little steps, isn't it? I mean, do either of you know much about Apple sustainability? Because I do not. It's actually one thing I've never like. They're quite hush hush about it. I swear they're not very.
This is a massive
not
thing
overtly.
With
we're so sustainable.
Yeah, with like the Fairphone, they every year release like a report of the year before, and they show how many of their like phones, like the previous models, are still in use now and how many have like been repaired. And they're very open about that side of it. Obviously they're not going to declare absolutely everything as like a sustainable company. They're going to come across in a sustainable way, but Apple wouldn't even consider doing that. It's not something that they're actively looking to improve. It's not something that they're like working towards. And like, it's also not a viewpoint that you take. You don't think about sustainability, you think Apple, so Apple's not going to work to put itself across sustainably.
They're so popular, they kind of don't need it to care.
On a bit of a tangent regarding Apple, what do you think about, like we said earlier, them removing their chargers from the box and almost claiming that would be reducing e-waste?
So what was the reason? I didn't even question it. What was the reason?
For anyone that doesn't know, I guess, Apple removed their chargers from their boxes recently. The 12 or 13?
I didn't get one in mine.
So slimmer boxes, which naturally there's less, you can transport more in each shipment, for one thing. But also their argument was that people already have these chargers and bricks lying around and they don't need another one.
They break and they're not very good and they bend when you sit in bed with them.
But I think also it's, in terms of like the Apple in comparison to everyone else, if Apple used the same charging ports as everyone else, you're probably going to have them lying around, but Apple
they don't.
And then there was the whole bill that they wanted to pass about all phones having the USB-C lightning connection. So Apple, being Apple, decided, I know how to get around this. I'm still going to have the lightning port for Apple products, but I'm going to make the other end that goes into
so annoying.
The like USB port, that's going to be USB-C, which makes it so much more difficult that if it's like the Fairphone, I didn't get any accessories with it. It was just the phone itself. And like when I ordered it, I ordered a new charger. No, but they sell them on the website and it came in the same shipment. So like, not that upset about it. And also it's a standard.
It's like an add-on.
That's a good way to do it, where you can add it on and it's not 40, 50 quid for a charger.
Yeah, it's like and also I think it's got a warranty on it as well. So it's another way. It has an adapter at the end, so you can have a standard USB or is it USB-A and USB-C?
Yeah.
It's got like the additional adapter that's automatically on there. So they're not forcing any sort of change. They're not putting it across as like a different charging port. They're not trying to be difficult. And I think if Apple had done it in a way that their phones were being charged the same as everyone else and didn't supply it, that's absolutely fine, because guaranteed there's going to be someone in your house that's got a random leftover charger that you can use. But when it's Apple firstly implementing the USB-C end with the lightning charger, which was relatively new around the time, I think, as well, not everyone's got that.
No one else had it before.
And then it's like they're advertising it as like lightning speed charging, but you have to buy this specific charging cable from us anyway. So like, where is the sustainability in that? You're still going to buy it. You're actually actively encouraging people to buy a new one because you're making them faster charging. So people are going to go, I want my phone to charge faster. I'm going to order a new one.
You know the new iPads, do they have the same phone charger? Because my iPad and my phone are two different ones.
The USB-C to C, you mean?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
And what's my phone? Lightning
one, yeah.
That's another annoying thing. Why do if you want to be so sustainable, give me one charger for everything.
But I think they've they've redone the bill now, I think, and it's like trying to get past that. It has to be the point that's going into the phone that is a USB-C. So basically, Apple thought I can get around this. I got my own way to do it, and then they've turned around and said, actually, the bill hasn't been passed yet, so we're going to change it now because you've basically done what we didn't want you to do.
Do you think Apple could argue though that there's so many devices out there and add-ons to they're made for iPhone accessories, and they all use Lightning, so that if they were to switch to USB-C, then people are going to go out and buy all these other attachments to their phone and accessories, and that's just creating even more e-waste because all the Lightning ones are then obsolete. Give it 2 years.
But then I think they are the big guys and they're the leaders, and if they do anything, everyone else will follow them. So I think I don't think it's a good enough excuse, really.
But it might be an impact for that transition period, but after that,
but
everything is
give
unified.
it a year, 2 years. Everything would be the same.
Yeah, and you said about them being quite flimsy as well. Give it a year or two. All of those chargers that they were supplying before are broken.
I mean, the quality is awful. Yeah. Like, how long have you ever kept one of those for? I feel like you really look after yours. I bet you like tie yours up with little bands and stuff. Yeah. See, mine, I sit in bed and it's bent under. I understand that's me doing it, but I still don't think they're well designed. I think they're poor quality. They're not long enough. Because then that's another thing. Come and buy our long one. No, just give me the long one to start with. I don't think they're very good.
Do Fairphone have a sort of campaign the same way you can send your phone in for repair? Do they have it for accessories where they can responsibly dispose of them?
Very good question. I'm actually not sure. I don't think so.
So can they not fix those things they can't fix? They just
things like cables and
cases or something,
charging bricks, stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The charger that I bought with it, I bought the like long life one, which is like got the like woven outer and like everything's made to last a little bit more. So I think they have considered it, but not to the extent that they've considered the actual phone itself, because they are still going to break. But I don't think they've got any schemes where you can like return any accessories. Or
That's another thing I'd be interested in if I was to buy one. It's the question of if I have a broken screen or broken camera module. First of all, can I send it back? And if I do, then what happens to it?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Another thing I think before we finish, I wanted to talk about was you mentioned you couldn't get it straight away, could you? And
there's a waiting list.
Yeah, but they did the most like adorable thing, which is they like send you updates of like, we're currently looking for this piece of metal, and we're like, and I just think like that, the transparency is another thing which I would love, and it kind of gets you excited. It gets you like geared up for it. Like, where's my phone now?
Yeah,
because I bought it just after I think it was just after the release. So I was going to buy it for the release and like be on the
trend.
But like on the like waiting list, like they'd have it ready to go. But I didn't feel like my iPhone was ready to go at that point. And then sure enough, give it a month, my iPhone was giving up even more. So I ordered it, knowing that it was going to be a 3-month wait. So I ordered it in November. I think it was like end of November, and it was supposed to come the beginning of February. And then I got an email in December saying that they were having difficulty sourcing some of the chips, which has been like a current thing anyway. Like if you try to build a computer in the last like year or two, you can't get hold of the parts. So I had like a 3-month wait, which I knew about in December. I got an email saying it might be a bit delayed. We're looking for this. And that it was just really hard to get hold of them. And then they kept giving me updates, but it still ended up being delivered at the right time anyway. So it was nice for me that I had that warning, and then it was like a nice surprise to be like, it's getting dispatched, it's on its way. But like the transparency for me as well was like I really appreciated it. I appreciated knowing like actually what the problem was as well, I think, rather than just kind of being like, oh, it's delayed. Like,
yeah. But did you feel like that was honest, or do you feel like, did you get the kind of vibe that it was more marketing, or did you feel like that was real? Really?
I feel like it's a bit of both, because I think everyone knows about the like the chip shortage that was happening. Like there wasn't materials to make them, and like electronics throughout lockdown, I think especially there was like a massive increase in the market, that it was like a massive struggle anyway. So I did kind of already know the background to that. And then in terms of them sending an email, it definitely is a bit of marketing and a bit of like make sure the customer's happy, but also I don't feel like I was being lied to. I don't feel like they were like making excuses, and it still did end up getting delivered on time. So I felt like I was more just being kept in the know.
It's just helpful, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of like a personal touch from like, it's still a big company, but it's still like a little...
I mean, who doesn't like tracking their packages?
Yeah, exactly.
But then do you think if that scaled up, if we all started doing that, it would become naturally, more of an industry and more of a less personal feel?
Yeah, maybe.
But that,
I think so.
to some level, that can't be helped.
No,
that's just the name of the game.
Do you have it with you by any chance?
I do.
For anybody watching the video, so we can see sort of like how it looks in comparison to other new phones.
Yeah, it's really nice, isn't it? Let me try and remember the thing this one for you as well. So it's literally the same as like any other old phone. Oh god, my nails. I'm not going with this. But you literally just pop off the back. That's
incredibly
easy. Let me try. I don't want to break your phone.
Oh no, there we go. Okay. Oh. So it is still like it's not going to fall apart.
Well, that's good.
That scares me. That feels
easy.
like it's gonna. The sound.
But I've got
you don't
like
need
my
proprietary
battery.
screws.
You can see all of the like screw marks. So it's quite a small screw, but it's still standard Philips.
It looks pretty user friendly as well, because I think if you open up an iPhone, it would probably look a lot more intimidating.
And it has loads of like the kind of identification for anyone that's watching.
Oh, so you can see the speaker.
But like when you're repairing it, there's a camera picture just here, so it's like where you get the parts, it's very clear that like, okay, this is the part I need to take out, and the same with like the speaker,
right?
And everything else. It's like it's just very.
What happens if you don't know what's broken? You might, I don't know enough about phones, but what if you think that, oh, it's this part of the battery, but actually it's actually the screens, whatever. Else. And then, like, I don't know, maybe they have some policy on returning parts if they're not.
Yeah.
Say if you buy two.
That's why I think the internals are great, because they have that for those that can't see it and listening just to the audio podcast. So when you open the back of the phone, it has sort of icons to display that this module is the camera, this module is the battery. So even if you don't know what you're doing, you could maybe order multiple parts and switch them out. And if that doesn't work, then it's easy to know which one you just changed.
Yeah,
and change
but then you'd like to think that you could send them back, because that's not very sustainable if you've bought
definitely
all
not.
this stuff.
But I think also they'd probably have an option, because I know that there's like a customer like bot thing on the website that you could probably have that conversation and say, I'm having an issue with it.
Yeah, I'm sure they would.
This is the problem. And I think with the whole ethos of the company and like those emails and like the personal touches, it's kind of, again, it's a similar thing of like having it as like a personal thing. Like we are here to help you and we're here to support you. And having that like option, really.
I think it's a great company, great idea. And a lot of us now are sort of feel as if maybe we're conditioned to accept that, if you drop your phone and break the screen, it's just normal to go and get a new one rather than try and repair it, because it's such a cumbersome process. So
I think the average person could repair an iPhone screen, though. I'm sure there's videos and stuff.
Definitely. I mean, you can do anything on YouTube these days.
Yeah.
So it's definitely possible, but would people, the majority of people, if they're not that way inclined, would they want to?
I think also it's then you're voiding your warranty with Apple. So if you try to repair it yourself and then you went back to Apple, a lot of the time they're like someone's
a scare tactic.
Yeah.
If you even dare try and repair it, then you void your warranty.
Have you seen, if you ever get fluff in your charging port?
Yeah.
My dad, he went straight in with like a pin and tried to get it out, couldn't, took it to the shop, and they're like, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you've touched it now. As soon as you touched it, it's like you've had your chance.
Yeah.
So, to wrap up, final thoughts. I think it's a great option for somebody looking for a sustainable phone. It might not be, the most sustainable thing in the world if you're looking more holistically at the entire industry, because, well, according to Fairphone's website, 1.4 billion phones are sold each year and only 15% are recycled and reused. So they'll be making a very small impact on the global market. But it's a good place to start, and it might spark change.
I guess it's the same with anything in sustainability. It's like you start little and then, we see movement, but maybe I just need to get over my fear of androids and then...
It only took me a couple of days and then I was ready to go.
Don't get me wrong, Apple I think is brilliant.
It's just so easy. It's just so easy. You could fake fan.
But I use an Android phone, so I guess on the fence.
Best of both.
Yeah. definitely.
Right.
Yeah. Any final words?
Get a Fairphone.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you for watching this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.